Hey, what's up, guys? This is going to be the first of many rant-style videos I'm going to be putting out on this channel. Um, they're not all going to be heavily focused on Apex, like this one will be. But if you guys enjoy this style of content, you appreciate the video, you like this style, me giving my thoughts more so than just, compilations or whatever the case, leave a comment, slap a like, hit the bell, subscribe, all that nonsense. I appreciate it, and it lets me know that you guys enjoy this style of content. And yeah, without further ado, let's just get right into it. So, first thing I'm gonna address is something that you've probably heard a lot about in terms of Apex because it's been a huge deal over the last couple months, which is the cheating. Respawn has always had and has always been known for, among its player base, having a terrible anti-cheat. Uh, and with all this stuff with Destroyer 2009 making essentially a mockery of the entire anti-cheat by jumping into a, a literal ALGS server, which was on a public server, so you can't really fault them for that, but it's still within Apex's games. And this guy jumps in, this prolific hacker jumps in and puts aimbot and wall hacks onto two major pro players slash streamers computers without them even realizing it until it happened. And that's just an embarrassment. It's an embarrassment to Respawn, it's an embarrassment to EA, it's an embarrassment to their anti-cheat, and really it's an embarrassment to the integrity of the game itself. I mean, that's a thorough line for being able to enjoy a video game is knowing that you're playing on even ground. And you can like make arguments about aim assist or this or that. I don't care. Point is, if you're playing against cheaters that like literally have a computer like locking in on people, having wall hacks and all this stuff, like it's embarrassing. It destroys the integrity of the game. Nobody wants this. And instead of focusing on it, what they're really focusing in on is monetization. They pump out all these ridiculous reskin events for hundreds of dollars. I mean, you spend $700 on a fucking death box, $300 on a green peacekeeper, reflective peacekeeper skin. These where the fuck do they pull these prices out? I don't understand. I mean, compare Apex's monetization to any other major FPS game on the market, any other AAA FPS game on the market. Granted, you're gonna have a lot of games that have poor monetization practices with like loot crates and this and that, like Battlefront and all that, but nothing even comes close to Apex. It's so bad. I mean, $700 for a death box skin. What is the point? Why would you ever spend that? And you know what? The worst part of it is that there's cash cows that play this game that will spend $700 on a fucking death box. That's why they have made billions of dollars off of this game. And what that leads to is them neglecting everything important about this game and honing in on, they fired like almost all of their developers earlier this year. And with all these cheating scandals, you got to wonder, it's like, why did you fire all those people? The only people they really care about keeping on payroll are the graphic designers that make the skins, because that's where all the money is. They don't care about the state of the game as long as it's not decayed to the point where they can't sell or market these egregiously priced, ridiculous Reese colors and fucking Deathbox skins. And of all the people that could be calling it out, whether it's content creators or people within the esports scene, nobody wants to make that call. Nobody wants to say anything about it. You have certain people like Bob's, BOBZ, and the Gaming Merchant, and like small voices here and there within the content creator realm. But you have a lot of people within the public space, like the most popular streamers, like Hal or Nicewig, or um, His Watson, or Lou, or any of those people. Taxi. Taxi's not a good example. He's unfiltered. But a lot of these really popular content creators or streamers don't call out Respawn or EA nearly as often as they should. And I get that they have, they're in their position, they're going to be called out for being whiny or this or that. But really, the esports scene in and of itself suffers dramatically from neglect from Respawn and EA. Like you have to think about how terrible these players are treated. There's no money in the esports scene. His Watson just dropped out of pro playing, or excuse me, being a pro player. He dropped out of the esports scene completely because he outright said he has no passion for it, and there's no money to be made. He makes twice as much money doing content creation. And to be perfectly honest with you, this is my opinion. I don't think that he's really much of a content creator in general. Like he's made a lot of videos and stuff like that, but it's really run of the mill basic content creation. Like he has not done any outlandish videos that don't break away from the mold or anything like that. Not that a rant video is gonna break the internet, so I don't know where I'm coming from saying all this, but I'm just saying like the fact that he can, one of the top pro players in Furia of all the top, like one of the top pro teams, one of the most well recognized pro players, one of the highest ranking pro players, literally outright says he has no motivation and he just doesn't want to do it because there's no incentive. If he was motivated by the competition, maybe, but there's no money, and how does that make any sense? You know, and you think like, oh well, content creation is always going to be the more viable option. Sure, but the thing is that content creation in Apex is almost like minuscule. Like there's like no major content. You have news channels like BOBZ and the Gaming Merchant and this and that, but as far as like true content creation, people are pivoting away from Apex because there's fucking no content. There's no content within the game. You can make videos complaining about the game, but you can only run those videos for so long before you're just beating a dead horse. Like there's nothing to say at this point. People have been complaining about the monetization and the anti-cheat and all this shit for so long that at this point it just rings hollow to a lot of viewers. There's no meat there. It's just bones. And but then you compare that to the fact that there's more money in content creation than even the best highest ranked esports players in the entire league are making. There's still more money to be made there. The whole thing just makes no sense until you realize that there is no support from EA or Respawn. There's no, they don't give a fuck about their pro scene. They do not care. They truly do not care. And the way that you can tell that is by looking at all these developed, like Hideouts, for example. They had two pro players in the middle of a major tournament get hacked and have cheats put on their computers. And then he goes on Twitter and turns around and starts yelling at people for not understanding how hard his job is. It's like, dude, nobody gives a fuck how hard your job is, especially not when you're using the public Apex Twitter account to promote your fucking dumbass DJ music. Like, nobody gives a shit. All we care about is the fact that we're running into cheaters all the fucking time. But yeah, go ahead and cry about how hard your job is while you're literally promoting your own music on the side. Like, it's just ridiculous. And another thing that's egregious and nobody wants to talk about this is the matchmaking. I know that for a lot of top players, they're constantly three stacking. It's just the way that the game is meant to be played. A early stage developer within this game, within the first 2 years, I remember this quote. I don't know who said it. An old developer said this, but he said the game is not meant to be played solo. Like, you're not playing the game properly. It's meant to be played with a party of 3 at all times. That's literally how the game's meant to be played. And that's understandable, but there is no solo mode. There's no solo mode. So, like, where the fuck does that leave people that work swing shift and get off at midnight and are playing video games from the hours of, 1 in the morning to 4 in the morning? Nobody was going to, nobody. Who's going to want to play with you at 1 o'clock in the morning? Who's grinding for the next ALGS split at 2 o'clock in the morning? It just makes no sense. And nobody wants to talk about it, but the matchmaking system caters extremely to 3 stacking, and it caters extremely to people that abuse the system. Because my experience is that I would much rather jump into a silver or a gold match, or even like a plat or a diamond match, than I would play a pub match. Because at the very least, I know that the chances of me running into triple stack preds is significantly less. Even if people are putting way more effort into their game style and then people are ratting and trying their absolute hardest to hold zones and pick a good team comp, the actual skill level is so much significantly worse than my public matches that for me it's just far more enjoyable because I don't have to sweat my balls off every single second I step outside of a fucking building. I mean, my pub lobbies are, no joke, the worst fucking experience. My day-to-day experience when I jump into a game is I get 2 or 3 good games, then for 4 hours I'm chasing this non-existent light at the end of a tunnel. And I'm just chasing this dream that I might be able to get one more good game. And what happens is I get 7th place and I get 2 or 3 kills and an assist. And I say, yep, that is as good as it is going to get. And I get the fuck off. And that is not how it should be. They've said time and time again, the Respawn developers have said time and time again that they do not use any form of engagement-based matchmaking. which is, it's a practice coined by EA, and I have very legitimate reasons in my mind to believe that they do, but that's neither here nor there. Um, and that's not my claim. Many people have made that claim before. But my point is that there shouldn't be a matchmaking system in pub matches to begin with. Like, what is the point of having a ranked lobby if you're not going to actually have any distinction between one lobby and the other? Either way, you're jumping into pubs or ranked, you're still going to have some level of engagement-based matchmaking. So, or some level of, skill-based matchmaking. And that does not make any sense. What is the point of having these two separate lobbies to begin with if that's the case? It doesn't make any sense. And I just think that with all these issues compiled on top of each other, it's very easy to see that there's solutions for each and every one of these problems. There's a roadmap to follow, but instead of actually taking any type of action whatsoever in regards to any of these issues, they sit on their toes and they dawdle and they twist their thumbs and they sit there with their dick in their hand, hoping that people will forget, hoping that people won't wake up and realize that all Respawn and EA really cares about is those shekels, baby. That's it. They don't want to fix their game. They only want to keep it alive. They don't want their game to thrive. They just want to keep it, on dialysis with a fucking slow heartbeat so that they can suck up the last couple of jewels the last couple of schmeckles that they can grab out of your back pocket without you looking. And all these dumb cash cows, all these moronic players that work a full-time job and come home and spend hundreds of dollars on a fucking death box, you are the problem. I want you to realize that you are the problem. You vote with your wallet. You tell Respawn, this is acceptable treatment. I'm fine with this. You tell them that statement alone by buying these dumbass skins. If you bought one of those death box skins, if you actually participated in this egregious monetization, you are part of the problem. And I have no sympathy for any of you, to be perfectly honest with you. I despise and loathe the practice of spending that much money on a game, period. Let alone a game like this that just takes advantage of their player base time and time again. And we've seen it time and time again, and people just do not wake up to it. And it's really just, it seems like it's an Ouroboros. It's a snake eating its own ass, and it never gets to it. It's never going to change. There's never going to be any type of change in regards to all this because people are what they are. But I just wanted to put my thoughts out on all of this and really just kind of throw it out there. I really think that Apex is and has been in a horrible state for a very, very long time. And I hope that something changes. I do, but I just don't. I know that there's going to be small ups because that's how it always goes. The game gets to the point where everybody's leaving and nobody wants to play it, and people are complaining, and the entire community's turning on the developers. And then out of nowhere, all of a sudden, guess what happens? They release a new perk system, and everybody forgets about that $700 death box. All of a sudden they release the fucking what was the new one, the challenger mode or whatever. What's the new one called? There's a new game mode. I don't even care. I don't even know where it is. But everybody's talking about this new game mode. And apparently 2 of the top 10 people in the ranks of that game mode are fucking cheaters anyways. So there you go back to the cheater issue. How are the top ranks still being filled with cheaters? I just watched a video released like 6 hours ago by Bombs that was talking about how this new game mode that everybody's infatuated with, that everybody's talking about, is literally being 2 of the top 10 spots in the game mode are being occupied by cheaters. So even with the things that people want to focus on, the good things that people want to focus on, there's still all these problems underlying, and they're not getting solved. And the only way that they get solved is if they're brought to the surface, but nobody's willing to do that. I don't know if that has to be me, this small 200 subscriber YouTube channel. I don't know why it would have to be me, but it just seems ridiculous that it's not. And I'm extremely disappointed with the state of the game. I'm extremely disappointed with everything that's happened with this game in the last 5 years. Nothing has gone right in my mind. As a former Wraith main, you could probably see some underlying anger that I got with that as well. But I wanted to put my thoughts out, and I appreciate anybody that made it this far into this video. I mean, this is a 15-minute long rant, so I know we've got a lot of ground covered in this video, but I'm probably repeating myself over and over again anyways. So, if you appreciated this video, leave a like, give me a comment, give me a subscribe. I really appreciate it. It tells me that you guys actually enjoy this style of content and makes me more motivated to continue. So, I appreciate you guys giving it a watch, and if you made it this far, I love you. Have a good rest of your day.